And I'm going to do 2 so that we are both recording. So Kim, you actually might have to come on screen for now to then put the PowerPoint on. So, oh, okay, perfect. Wonderful. All right. And if you can go into full screen mode, that would be awesome. Thank you. See, not only is she going to be amazing at giving advice about how to date in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. Oh, 40s, 30s. What is it again? 40s, 50s, and 60s. She's also technically savvy. Okay. This is the Wing Girl Methods Masterclass with Kimmy Seltzer. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. Oh, hold on. Now, okay, let me just admit everybody. Sorry. We will send, okay, notes for the speaker of the class, but for you guys as well, we will send you the final PowerPoint before, oh, whoopsies, that is not for us to say. Go to the next slide, actually. Okay, this is the ultimate masterclass, how to meet beautiful, high quality women when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s and get dates on demand. And we are starting it right now. So, oh, go back 1 second. If you want to just go back one slide, drop into chat your name and location. So where are you guys coming from? Who are you? I know I said a hi to a bunch of you, but I want to know. Mark from Toronto, Gil from San Diego, Ken from Nevada, Richard from Sacramento, Tom from Redondo, Miguelon from DC, Eddie from Boulder, Matt from Detroit. Okay, Scott from Idon. Derek from Miami. Okay, tons of people from all over. Interesting, mainly from the US this time. Usually we get from all over, but this is cool. Bill from Philadelphia. Wonderful. So welcome everybody. I am so glad that you are here. Okay, next page. Just want to let everybody know we are recording this class. So we are live and on air. Here's a bit of a disclaimer for everybody. The information and ideas presented in this masterclass are not intended to be a substitute for medical advice or counseling. Always consult your physician or therapist before beginning this or any similar program. If you choose not to obtain the consent of your physician or therapist and or work with your physician or therapist throughout the duration of your time using the recommendations in this masterclass, you are agreeing to accept full responsibility for your actions and recognize that despite all precautions on the part of the author and publisher, there are risks of injury or illness which can occur in connection with or as a result of use or misuse of the exercise advice information found in this masterclass. You expressly assume such risks and waive, relinquish, and release any claim which you may have against the publisher. Basically meaning that this is all great information. Use it on your own. If you misuse it, we're not responsible for it. Okay, so please turn off any distractions. Anybody that comes in, please put yourself on mute. Or I'm going to do it for you. Please put yourself on mute so that we don't hear you. And please close all social media and email. I want you fully focused on this class. So this class is about 2 hours, including a little bit of time for some Q&A at the end. Okay, so here's how to ask a question. So you want to stay on mute. Okay, no starting to talk out loud and interjecting. So stay on mute, stay quiet, and put your question into the chat feature in Zoom, which many of you have found. It is to the right on my screen, but you can also locate it on the bottom. There's a little chat bubble, and then the chat section will pop up, and just write a question if you have it into that section. And please make sure that it pertains to what's being discussed, not just a random question that you want to throw out. And we're going to be reviewing all of your questions and inserting them along the way in order to cover everything. Okay, here's a formula for asking good questions. Get clear on what outcome you are, let me just mute this, you are trying to achieve. Ask one question at a time. Oh, Russell, if you could just mute. Ask one question at a time, provide relevant context, focus on the current topic, put the question in brackets before, and read your questions out loud before posting just to make sure that they make complete sense. Okay, so again, the chat feature, if you look on the bottom screen, there's a little chat button there. That's where you drop it. So let us know that you found the chat feature. Please drop a 1 in the comment section in the chat feature. Ah, perfect. Everybody found it. Oh, hi, Jeff. Everybody found it. Wonderful. Okay, great. Oh, Gil, hi. Okay. So, will there be a replay? Yes, you will get an email with the masterclass recording in 28 to 48 hours. You're also going to get a PDF of the curriculum. And as a special treat, Kim has put together some follow-up exercises so that you really take the content from this class and you put it to use after. Because lots of people listen, read, and then forget. So she's going to kick your butt and make you do these things after the class. So, is this the first masterclass you are attending? Please drop a 1 in the chat if it's the first masterclass that you are attending. Oh, wow. Lots of you. Okay, good. Wonderful. I'm excited to have you. You're going to love this. Okay. If you have attended a previous masterclass, what was the name of that class? So drop the class name in the chat. Online dating, that was a great one. How to please a woman, great one too. I mean, all of them were great. Online dating, banter masterclass, meeting women in public with cause. Yeah, that was great too. Online dating. Oh, so a lot of online dating ones, several. Okay, wonderful. I'm glad that you guys have come back to see more of these masterclasses. Okay, so check-ins. We will ask you to comment from time to time, just like I'm doing right now. This allows me and us to do a bit of a temperature check and just make sure that you guys are paying attention and just to see how everything's going. And the more you participate, the more value you're going to get out of this class. And so by doing what we're right now, it's making sure that you're paying attention, because we could just talk for 2 hours, but then you could zone out, go onto the computer. Really, the more that you participate, the more this is going to be beneficial for you and the more value you're going to get out of it. Okay, so before we get started, why did you decide to attend this class? So please drop your response in the comment section. So I'm going to tell you why I chose to have this class. Well, I've been trying to do a class with Kim for a very long time because she is amazing and gives great advice. And in tandem with that, I've been realizing lately that a lot of the people that I'm coaching are in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and even 80s, and they are getting back out there. So I was like, oh, let's just do a class for these guys, because there's different things for you guys than there is for somebody in their 20s. So let's see what you guys said. Okay. Oh, you lost your girlfriend. Dating in your 40s is hard. Been out of the loop for 10 years. I'm in my 40s to 60s. Hard to get a match after you turn 40. Fits my age group. Recent separation. Need to get back into dating. All great reasons. So are you ready to commit to taking action with the materials that you learned today? So drop a 1 in the chat if you are committed. I love it. Lots of 1s. Good. I like hearing that. I love that you are committed to growing and practicing these skills in order to help you with that goal. At the end of the masterclass, Kimmy has a very special little gift for you and a surprise. So please stay till the very end so that you can get this surprise. Okay. How many of you have thought that dating in your 40s, 50s, and 60s is difficult or awkward, and then it's all just a huge waste of time? I saw that comment a lot. Yes. Drop a 1 in the chat if that, yes, that speaks to you. I know tons of you already made that comment already. Okay. Well, we're going to solve that today. Do you struggle with your self-confidence, feeling that you're not drop a 2 if any of these resonate with you, feeling that you're not sexy enough, that you don't know how to flirt with a woman so that she's attracted and intrigued by you. Okay. Lots of 2s. Okay. It's really good that you're here then. Are you sick and tired of not being able to find any sexy, beautiful, confident women? Drop a 3 in the chat. Oh, Ed already knows what I'm going to ask. Yes. Instead, you find women who are emotionally jaded or unavailable. Yeah, I know. Big issues. Do you wish you knew how to, drop a 4 if you have these things, meet, flirt, and authentically connect with any woman you choose, even if you're in your 40s and 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s, you haven't actually dated in years or ever really, you have kids, you can't just seem to find any great women, you don't think you're sexy, you don't have the same body you did when you were in your 20s and 30s, and you feel creepy when approaching women. Okay. Lots of you. Do you secretly hate dating and wish you could just skip it and just get the girl? Number 5, drop a 5 if this is you. Yeah. Oh gosh, lots of 5s. Okay. Okay. So after all those questions, I'm glad that you are here because this class is for you. So if there's something that wasn't there, or even if it was, what do you want us to make sure that we cover in this class? What is really, really important to you? So drop a comment in the chat to tell us what you 100% want covered in this class. Closing the deal, flirting, where to go and find women, locations, dating younger women in their 20s, flirting with younger women, where to find ladies, conversation starters, how young should I go? Great questions. They will be answered. Okay, slide. Today, we are going to teach you the exact proven process to meet beautiful, high quality women when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s and get dates on demand, even if you have been out of the game for a while. Okay, are you ready to meet Kimmy Seltzer? I hope so. If you are, let's welcome Kimmy by dropping a number 1 in the chat, which is equivalent to a standing applause in real life. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kimmy first before she comes on. So Kimmy is an authentic dating strategist, confidence therapist, and image expert. She has a vast amount of knowledge and experience as a therapist, certified style coach, dating coach, and matchmaker. She has helped thousands of people find lasting love and connection and build valuable relationships using her unique outside-in confidence makeover process. She has improved people's love lives by working on body language, first impressions, image, and messaging and how it impacts attraction. She travels the country helping people discover confidence, charisma, and connection as a speaker, blogger, and on her podcast, Charisma Quotient, and hit reality show, The Romance. All right. Oh, John, mute yourself. I'm going to mute you now. All right, everybody, please welcome Kimmy Seltzer.
I feel like we should have music, Marni.
I know,
I do these workshops. I usually put like I'm too sexy.
I love it.
So all
right, Tracy, note for next time.
I was gonna say if anyone here is a DJ, like I'm all about it. You guys can totally chime in. Marni, thank you so much.
I love it. Yes, of course. Well, thank you for coming on and speaking to these guys. They are ready. Here, Kevin's a DJ too. They are ready to listen to you and hear what you have to say. So take it away.
Thank you. And thank you so much for all of you showing up and coming here. And Marni, thank you for having me. This topic is near and dear to my heart, and you'll hear why in a second, because I always chuckle when people read my bio, and it's like, I feel blessed that I have all this professional experience, but the real reason why I'm so passionate about doing what I do is because of my own story. And I'm here to tell you that I've been there, done that. I'm in your demo, guys. So I know the journey quite well. And honestly, this story is really important to what I'm going to teach today, because what I thought I knew before my own story happened, I didn't know, and I don't even know if I can swear here. I didn't know.
Yes, swear.
I didn't know shit. Okay, thank you. I didn't know shit until things started happening to me. And so I want to share that with you and also set the tone for what we're going to talk about today. So here, the long story longer, I am this good girl from Chicago, and I led a very traditional life in a traditional sense. I practiced as a therapist for many, many years. I had the picket fence, the house, the dog, the couple kids. I still have the kids, by the way. Are you seeing where the story's going? And we all pick up and decide one day to move across the country to La La Land here in LA. And we land here and we decide to do what all the other people here do. We get a divorce. Joke.
I thought you were going to say have an open marriage, but okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, I haven't ventured into that. obviously there were issues, right? Like it wasn't LA. I like to blame LA, but the real reason is that, sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of you on here can relate, when you go through some sort of change, sometimes like you're faced with all the stuff that has been bubbling up and percolating, and honestly, what we've all been collectively going through in the past, year and a half. I think a lot of people have been faced with things and really like looking at, what do I want for my life? And is it working? And so I'm here in LA, and everything that I knew completely crashed. It was like the record stopped. And I didn't know what I was going to do with my new life. Now, here's the kicker. So here I am, a therapist, right? I should know better. I should know what to do intellectually, how I can like pick myself up and get back out there and create a new life for myself. And here's the thing, like I had a great support system too. I had my friends rallied around me. I went through counseling myself. I'm a big believer in that. And I was completely stuck. And if you saw me back then, I was not skipping around in this dress and heels. Okay. So like the reality was, what I really looked like wasn't this. If you saw me then, was wearing ginormous black clothes. I still had my nursing bras on, and I wasn't nursing any longer. Like it was not good. And my Birkenstocks, you get the picture, not sexy.
Right.
Yeah. So I remember trying everything, and like when there's a fork in the road and you can make a decision in which path you want to take. Well, I was taking the very dark dark road, and my clothes were definitely a reflection of how I felt. And I honestly was in this like victim mode. I too thought the thought of dating was just horrific. And I was like, the last time I dated, I was in college going to like toga parties, like that. I was like, I have no idea. Right. So I remember distinctly one day waking up and looking in the mirror. And I don't have any pictures. Sorry, guys. Like it was, well, you'll all remember, you're all my age. So it was before iPhones, right? So the pictures are in my garage somewhere of what I really looked like, but you get the picture. I was horrified of what I saw. I saw a very frumpy, sad mom. And I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I can't stand feeling this way anymore. I've done all this work and nothing is happening. So what does a girl do when she doesn't like what she looks like? And actually, I also lost a lot of weight. So I didn't even realize I had a new body in front of me. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going shopping therapy. This is where I'll start. So I go to the store and I'm doing the same thing that I've been doing. I think I'm up-leveling myself by getting new clothes, but no, I'm picking all the black clothes again. And they're in my arms. And this personal shopper, she comes up to me and she says, ma'am, I've been watching you and I really think you should try this on. And she holds up this little red dress that I thought was like 3 sizes too small. And I said, that's very sweet of you, but that's really not my size. And that's so not my color. And she says, honey, that is your color. That is your size. Try it on. Just like that. It was like, she hit me over the head with that red dress. Right. And sometimes, people kind of send you messages in your life when you can hear it. Well, I heard it loud and clear. And I said, you know what? She's right. I'm going to try that dress on. I need to do something different. So I squeezed into it and I twirled around like Cinderella and I looked in the mirror and wait for it. Ready? Bam, there I was. So, well, that wasn't the real picture back then, but you can get the point that I call it, I had my red dress moment. And when I came to, I really was like, I just kept looking at myself like, this is the happy girl. Like, this is the girl that feels dateable suddenly. And it was something magical that happened to me in that moment. I decided to buy that dress that day, almost as a costume. And I call it a costume because I didn't really believe it. I'd been in this like cocoon for so long. I'm like, well, I'm just going to go out into the world and see what happens in this red dress. And all this magic started happening. Well, everything that you heard in my bio started happening. New suitors began to come my way. And that was the biggest like realization, is that for the first time I was being seen. And lo and behold, what I realized was that those black clothes were actually a cloak that was keeping me invisible from you all alien men. Because really, I was scared of you. I was. And so I thought you guys were aliens. I did not know how to flirt. In fact, even though I had the red dress on, I had to get comfortable being seen. Mm-hmm. Now I know you all don't wear red dresses. Well, maybe some of you do, but like how many of you can relate to what I'm saying, where in some way, shape, or form you might be hiding? I mean, maybe it's, yeah, put a 1, thank you. And even like relate to what I'm saying. It could be hiding behind your computer. It could be saying, oh, I'm scared to like even talk to women because of being seen. And whether it was hard for you before you were married or when you were younger back in the day, or it's hard for you now because this is a whole new world in so many ways, the fear factor, and believe me, I've done whole workshops on fears, and that's something you guys are interested in. I can certainly do that. It's the fear that usually is what gets in the way. And I was scared. And so I had to not only look the part and dress the part, but I had to act the part and get over myself. And the only way I was going to do that was to put me into action. So this is what I want to teach you all today. So I'm not going to make you guys put on a red dress. Well,
why not?
I don't know. It might be fun. Look, I've done like, I'm used to more interactive workshops where I have people like doing makeovers, even in Zoom and stuff like that. And we can have fun with it. But figuratively, metaphorically, you get what I'm saying. Because once you understand and how to make these shifts, you will become more relaxed and complete overall. And that's when you're going to meet quality women. Because here's what I want you all to get. If you don't remember anything at all, I want you to write this one thing down. Women will love you when you look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm awesome. Like, I love me. And I know that sounds woo-woo, and maybe, you know, as a woman saying it to a man, you're like, oh, well, I'm not sure, but see how that lands for you. Like, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Because you should see a hot guy who's so valuable. And that's when you won't have the anxiety of approaching, because you won't care of getting rejected, right? So it's all about how you feel. And once you make these shifts, you'll be able to walk into a room, have women, you know, feel this kind of sex appeal and charisma. And I'm a big believer in charisma. It's actually a big part of what I'm teaching you today in my formula. Actually, the name of my podcast is called The Charisma Quotient, because I believe that energy, that magnetism is what draws women to you. Yeah, so I'm seeing like a lot of people are relating to them not feeling sexy. I mean, last time I checked, you all aren't here to learn how to have like friendly conversations on LinkedIn. Like you all can probably do that, or maybe you can't. We're here to attract a partner, a sexual attraction. You got to feel sexy, guys. Because if you don't, girls aren't going to look at you that way. So you got to start getting connected with that, right? Others are going to start noticing you in new confidence. I'll never forget this guy. He was so cute. He was from the Midwest. I don't think I have a picture of him in here, but he was actually a bouncer, and he wore like these big acid wash jeans and t-shirts. I mean, and it was his, you know, it was his life. And he never, ever had women, you know, approach him, never thought he was sexy. And until I got my hands on him, he actually came here and did a whole makeover. And I ended up styling him and put on a leather jacket. And he was just starting to like feel cool, right? And we're going to talk about style a lot today. And he felt so amazing that when he went back home, I got an email from him a week later. And he said to me, Kim, for the first time in my entire life, I am getting looked at by women. Like and because he was getting looked at, there was this symbiotic relationship, right? With the outer and the inner, and he started getting more confident approaching them. So guys, this is not superficial stuff. Confidence is outside and inside job. It's not either or. You'll also find that the exhaustion and the weight that's living in your head about, because I saw a lot of you say, yeah, you want to skip it all this courting stuff, all this dating stuff, get to the gal. Like you'll actually find it fun. because I want you all leaving today saying, I can't wait to date. And you'll do all this while tapping into your playful self. Y'all are getting so serious. We're all getting so serious. I mean, I've actually done also workshops where I'm just doing but oh, did I tell you I have an improv background? I'm sorry. Like I might get a little goofy and I like I'll just play games with you because that's what attracts each other, right? It's having that like boyish and girlish interaction with each other.
Yeah.
It's like going back right to the 5th grade. So how can we do that? Oh, somebody's a hair designer. Oh my God, amazing. I love that. So here, I mean, as you heard in my bio, I do a lot of things. I come from kind of like this holistic approach in helping people, being a therapist. I've also been a matchmaker. I'm an image consultant. I'm a dating coach. And it sounds like, oh, but wait, there's more, the Ginsu knife kind of thing. But really, I love that I'm able to tap into these different modalities and helping people because I'm just not this cookie cutter approach coach. I do not believe in one size fits all. I think because as a therapist, knowing that our journeys shape us, our past is connected to the future and the choices we make and the patterns that get created, like you all are pre-programmed in some way. We all are, based on our previous experiences. And I would be amiss if I didn't address that and go back to that when I'm working with people. So yes, I like to look at patterns in people's behaviors and lives so that we can disrupt it. So I can create strategies to help you all. So I actually call myself nowadays a dating strategist. I don't even call myself a coach anymore. I just think that we're all too savvy. We know a lot of stuff up here. We just need different strategies in getting over ourselves. That's what it is, and breaking bad habits. So I do a lot of goal setting with people. I'm all about, just implementing small goals, like let's get some new clothes to start. Let's then put a profile up, because like shooting yourself so high is why a lot of people end up not doing anything at all. Like how many of you thought, oh yeah, I should put a profile, I should date, I should. But like you're setting the bar so high for yourself that it just feels overwhelming. And then you just shut down. And then it's like, the perfectionistic paralysis then ends up setting in, right? Like that's what happens. So I want you to take away from this class small little things that you can do that you feel successful in, because that's what's going to raise your confidence.
Yeah.
And the charisma quotient formula is what I use to help everyone. I'm going to get into that later, but I have a 3-prong approach in raising your style, emotional, and social intelligence to get what you want. And I'll explain how we're going to do that. So enough of me talking. I do want as much as interaction as we can get in this large group without, I know we can't really on mic and chat, but at the end, definitely we will have, time for some Q&A. So how is dating in your 40s, 50s, and 60s different than when you were in your frolicking around at toga parties like I was in your 20s and 30s? Like what's going on? What's different to you guys? Marni, what do we got there?
So they can't find women. Well, back when I was their age, the times have changed. There's life baggage now. There's no more bars, not looking forward to the club scene, friends and associations gatherings. There's COVID.
Yeah.
We all have emotional baggage. I have to work harder to find opportunities to socialize, meeting people. It was effortless in the past. Women seem to like being in groups of women, not looking for guys. Physical appearance, no social media or profiles back then. Look like an old man. Easier to meet in college and grad school. Yeah, these are
great. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the top complaints that you would have about dating women that you're finding? Like, just come clean. Like, what are you seeing out there? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. Well, I've heard when I surveyed my list, the biggest complaints are that women are expecting somebody really rich or somebody to completely take care of them. They want a free ride. That's what Alex says. Don't have a lot of male friends to balance out my dating life with women. Sugar daddy. I can't meet their list. They're not emotionally available. Yeah, these are like, these are the common answers for sure.
These are okay. So guys, here's the thing that's really, I'm just going to kind of blow you away right now in that I work with both men and women, and I take pride in that. Every time I just try to work with one or the other, it just doesn't work because I just want to work with all of you. And like, why are we separating the boys and the girls? Like, why shouldn't we be like talking about this stuff together? And here's what's going to blow you away is that everything that you just wrote, when I do workshops for women, they write the exact same things. So what, right? Like, so what's different here? You know, maybe the way things get manifested are different, but we all struggle and want the same things. That's why I love like, you know, co-ed type of classes. And when we have conversations with each other, you see that we all just want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to find love and the right person for us. Now, in those beginning stages, as men, you might look for something different. I actually love men. And I always am telling my ladies, like, you're way overcomplicating things because we're so complicated. We think that you think like us, right? But you don't, you know, you want something a lot more simple. So I'm just going to do a little like reality check. So all those things that you're finding challenging are true. The dating world has changed. Absolutely. You do got to understand the nuances of like modern dating. I just actually did a podcast on this that got released today, in fact, about how dating has changed over the years. I mean, gone are the days where, you know, you just had a smaller selection of women that maybe you met through friends and, or, you know, Sally next door. We have so many choices, and how do we filter through that? When you maybe never learned how to date to begin with, right? Like, how many of you have never even dated before? Like you met your gal in college. That's when I met my guy, by the way. And it's like, I didn't know how to like literally court and date multiple people. Yeah, one. Okay, right. Yeah. I see. Right. Women have changed. Yeah, we've changed. I mean, so have you guys, but we're different back then, you know, like some women maybe you didn't see working as much. Some women weren't as busy. Like we're in a busy society now. So we have lots of things going on that maybe we didn't have back then. So our focus, our needs are also different as well. So maybe we look stronger to you. This is what guys say to me all the time too. They say, you know, they'll say, we think you don't need us, you know, like as a guy, right? Like, I don't know if you guys encountered like these powerful women who are just so, almost like they can emasculate you because they got it all. And, you know, and it's like, well, where's room for me kind of thing. So that's what I teach the women, by the way. So don't worry, I got that covered, but you got to understand that they're going through their stuff too. So here's the thing about all of us. We cannot change other people, right? And this is where I feel like the empowerment is. All we can do is look at ourselves so that we get different results. Because all the emotionally unavailable women, all the hot messes that you're talking about, they're going to still walk on this earth as long as they live, right? Like you can't do anything about it. But what you can do is change your strategy, change your approach, change your perception so that you can get a different result. That's it. That's all it is. So you might feel, okay, how did Marni, and I know that you were going to say this, like you guys actually said all this stuff before we even put this on. You might feel you're not as sexy. Maybe, you know, you have that dad bod, come on, you know, too old, like you're like a sagging gut, you're feeling rusty. I saw somebody put that in there. Like you don't know how to flirt. You don't know where to find the women. Like, it's not that we're mind readers. It's just that we know what you're going through and it's so common, right? These are universal things. You're not alone. Yeah. So, okay, here's a question. And I was talking about the fears I had. Now it's your turn. What would you say the scariest thing about dating is now that you're later in life in your 40s, 50s, and 60s?
Yeah. Well, actually, Kim, for you, why don't you answer that while we wait for some answers from these guys? What was
thinking it's too late? Yeah, no, they're doing it. Yeah.
Okay. Constant rejection, starting the mask versus the real, constant failure, not finding anybody, strangers, being myself, I'm too old, performance issues, being accepted as I am, and sex. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these things, totally normal. totally normal.
Totally normal. And I have something to share with you at the end, but I'll give you a hint that it does have to do with a class that is going to go into all this. But the first thing that I'm going over is how to get over and conquer your dating fears. And there are 5 fears actually that are the most common. And you all are saying a lot of them because it is scary. So, all right, let me just kind of go over what we are going to cover. I know that, and if you all, I'm just warning you, I'm going to throw myself under the bus. I always tend to go over because I get so jazzed and I get really into it and I tell stories. So Marni, you can like keep me.
I warned them in advance. Yes, no, this is great. Go over, talk, and teach.
Yeah. And if you guys need to stretch, I like, if I look at you guys and you look bored, I might start doing something really weird just to wake you guys up. Okay. I need some smiles. I'm looking over here because I have another screen. By the way, I'm not ignoring you or looking where my kids make fun of me that I look like a gamer because I have like these 2 screens. Okay. So here's the thing. In today's masterclass, you're going to learn how to create attraction and turn that magnetism into deeper connection and love. Even if it seems like a pipe dream, it's not too late, guys. It really isn't. In fact, guys in your age group are so like wanted, needed, marketable. Like you don't understand. The ladies are looking for you. They're like, where are all the good men? I'm like, I have like over, I don't know how many are in here, Marni, like 350, 400 men just right here in 2 hours. Like,
I know.
So yeah, I'll reveal the simple secret to attract women everywhere you go, the exact partner that you're looking for, practically on demand, like Netflix, wherever and whenever you want. And how to walk into a room or on a date and command unstoppable confidence. This is the thing that we keep talking about. Oh, Lars wants me to get weird. Okay, well, if you guys hang out long enough, I will.
Don't worry, it'll happen.
It'll happen. Stop, you got to stop living in your head, guys. This is the biggest thing that I also hear from men. How many of you are in your head a lot? Yeah.
Put a 1.
In your head?
Put a 1.
One. Yes.
Everybody.
Everybody. And by the way, women are too. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Even confident people. We're all
even confident people. Oh, because the women are the worst. They're like comparing themselves to other. Oh, she's prettier than me. And oh my God, my hair. And like we're all in it. Okay. Stop living in your head. Flirt with ease. How to present a charismatic first impression by knowing and giving off body signals. This is really important. Body signals and language is so important that pique women's interest, even if you have no clue how to carry yourself. This is what I work on all the time. How to carry on a conversation with a woman that creates a deeper chemistry and meaningful connection without the anxiety of searching what to say. And I will add another tagline to this, and without getting stuck in the friend zone. Because this is like one of the things that a lot of men complain about, especially when you date later in life, is that you are too friendly and not like playful and sexy. I'm just going to throw that out there. Okay. Yeah. You guys relate that? Yeah. How to do all this, right? Without relying on setups. By the way, nobody does a setup, right? Like nobody's setting you up, guys. Like this just doesn't happen anymore. And then the people who do set you up, it's like, oh, I happen to know someone else that's single. This is that was the funniest journey in my journey. I had a neighbor and she's like, I have the best guy for you. I'm like, I was so excited. I'm like, somebody's setting me up. He was not my type. He was nothing that I was like interested in, but he was just another single body, so countless hours of dating apps, singles events, all the other stuff that everyone does that just feels like it sucks. Okay. Are you guys ready to dive in? Dun, dun, dun. I feel like we need more music. 1. Okay. They are on it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Okay. Where's the DJ in the house? We should just be able to have that. Okay. So I'm going to reveal the 5 biggest dating myths and how you can overcome them first. Because let's just like get the myths on the table and address them.
Yeah.
Myth number 1, you think that you're not sexy enough to attract women. That's baloney. Like, all of you guys are sexy in your own way. Maybe you're not the sexy that your friend Bob is, but again, you got to believe that you're sexy. And that's what I love helping people do. And it starts sometimes with your wardrobe. I'm just saying. Flirting is for men in their 20s and 30s. I don't want to be creepy. That is so not true, guys. In fact, I would even argue that dating later in life is better than ever.
Yep.
Myth number 3, I can't date with kids. I will say that it's just another caveat. It's another layer. And once you learn how to navigate it, you can absolutely date with kids. It's just a different mindset. It's a different approach, and you have to think of it differently.
Can you go back to, actually, so I'm going to stop you for 1 second. So
Yeah.
Kevin asked how so, I don't know if you're going to cover this afterward, but for myth number 2, how is dating better?
Oh, how is dating better?
Yes.
Should I address that now or at the end when we do Q&A?
Maybe
doesn't matter.
Give a little bit right now. Okay. Because I agree with you. It is way better because you're smarter, you're wiser, you've done it, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you find it faster, and you can communicate more openly and honestly with the people that you're dating. There's a million reasons why it's
There's a million reasons, all the things that Marni said, and I love that there's just no sense of time. Like when you were in your 20s and 30s, a lot of times you were looking for that partner to settle down with, to have kids with. You had a different, like you were starting your career. Like hopefully by now you have the resources where you can relax to go on adventures and do things. Like maybe you don't even want to get married this time around if you're divorced, or maybe you don't, or even if you've never had a partner before, or you had a partner, like it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, you're different now. So what you want might be different, and it could be like a beautiful thing. It could be, and here's the thing. Okay. So I will say, I use this metaphor a lot. It's kind of like back in your 20s and 30s, you were a fisherman, like fishing in a pond, and you looked in the pond and you had lots of variety, right? Like you had all these different fish swimming. And as the fisherman, being unexperienced, you threw the pole in and you reeled in a fish that you thought looked good. But lo and behold, the fish stank, quite honestly. Like after a while, it just
fish,
right? It just didn't work for you. Because you were an inexperienced fisherman. So maybe you just didn't pick the right fish. Fast forward to now, it's kind of flip-flop, because here now you are a more experienced person because you know yourself better. You've been through more. You're maybe more, hopefully, emotionally immature, but you throw the pole in and now, oh my God, the pond looks different. Like a fish has 3 eyes, maybe one has a gill missing. You know, you're like, I'm not used to this pond, right? But if you knew that actually there's a lot of fish in there that are awesome for you, you just got to really know how to look for those fish. It's not as easy as just throwing in the pole, because it's just a different pool. But now that you're more experienced, you might pick a better fish this time around. What am I missing? I'm seeing the chat. Wrong hook, wrong size pole.
Yeah, they're into the analogy.
I was going to say we could have fun. We could have fun with the wrong size pole thing, but I'm not going to touch that. All right, moving on. Myth number 5. Where are they? There's nowhere to go and meet sexy, available women. Yeah, this is a complaint that we all are having because, again, we're not in the infrastructure anymore of like college where you have the social, you know, kind of concentrated area. And so where do we go? So which myth do you believe in? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Sexy enough. Flirting is for men in their 20s or 30s. I can't date with kids. What is it? 5, 5, 5. Okay.
5, 4, 5, 5.
Where are they? Yeah. I'm not sexy enough. 5, 4, 5.
5 is a huge one. Where are they? There's nowhere to meet.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. Okay.
Well, it's good to see that there weren't that many 4s. I mean, there were some 4s because sometimes, you know, men complain about that. All right. So knowing where the good women are is important.
Now they're like, I'm going to toss in these 4s.
Wait, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, Travis is like 4.
Yeah. Oh my God. Right, Travis. So again, like I said to you before, it is good knowing where the women are, but if you could make some changes that could make women come to you no matter where you go, do you guys want to know that? Right? Because again, we cannot change all these women. So you ready for me to show you how? Dun, 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 dun,
I'm ready.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So this is a very like just kind of simple method. I call it the MAP method. And this is about kind of shifting your mindset more than anything else. Because if you believe that there are no women out there and that there's nowhere to go to meet them, then guess what? You will make yourself right. I kind of use, so the M is the mindset. Kind of use the analogy, y'all know the Matrix. Come on, we're all from the same generation. You should know the Matrix, right? Yeah. So sometimes I'll like do this to like Marni, like your age or the millennials, and like, what's the Matrix? So I believe that it's like a dating matrix, that you can walk in the same path in the same world, and you might not see any women around you. But what if you put on a different pair of glasses, like in the Matrix, where he was in an altered reality of that world? Well, dating is no different. So I want to like motivate all of you to know that it's just putting on a different pair of goggles so that you see them everywhere. Because the reality is that they're in the coffee shop, they're in the grocery store, they're online, everywhere. They're everywhere, but you're not seeing them. So also you need to understand the different approach. And that's part of the strategies that we're going to go over today, because what maybe you're doing just isn't working. So how many of you might be like swiping right and left on Bumble and Tinder and you're getting nowhere fast? Well, maybe your approach is all wrong. Maybe you're vetting women in the wrong way. Maybe you're dating women as a relationship guy and you're not knowing how to court them and be flirty. Like, yeah, that's, oh, you can't tell what they look like with their masks on. Well, but do you even have to know what they look like? See, that's my whole perspective. What if you met a woman's eyes and you smile? Because the truth is, guys, you can see that I'm smiling with my eyes, even when you don't see my smile. We can all smile. We can like nod to each other. This is part of the signals. And the P is perspective. It's okay. So you know what it's like? You know, when you're in the market for buying a new car, and let's say you want a BMW and you've been on the road, and before you were in the market to buy a new car, you know, BMWs were all over the place, but you didn't see them because you weren't tuned in, right? Because you didn't care. You were just driving. What I'm telling you to do is look for the BMW now. And now that you're in the market to buy a BMW, or AKA a woman, you'll see them on the road all the time. Right? Like, have you ever experienced that? And then you start seeing like, oh my God, the BMWs are everywhere. Well, the same thing's going to happen to you. I want to tell you a quick story, actually, and this is just in reverse, of a woman that I worked with. She hired me for phone coaching, because I also have like, you know, virtual phone coaching, private clients. And she's like, there are no men everywhere. I've scoured the town, right? And I go to this, I've gone to this same like coffee shop. I've gone to the same, you know, she did everything. Now, I think she lived up in Canada, so she would walk to work. And I said, and she hired me. And my first assignment to her, because I'm all about homework, because I think we need tasks and homework to hold ourselves accountable. And I said, next time you go to work, I want you to put on the Matrix glasses. And I want you to look around and notice who's noticing you. That's all I want you to do. And I just want you to see something different. I kid you not, this is a true story. She comes back a week later and she said, Kimmy, do you have a voodoo doll? I said, no, I do not have a voodoo doll. What happened? She said, well, I did what you said. She said, I took the same route to work that I always do. And I suddenly see this really handsome man on the bench. And I noticed that he's noticing me, and we locked eyes. And before I knew it, we started talking. And before I knew it, he asked for my number. And before I knew it, I had a date with him last night. That guy ended up being her boyfriend. That guy. And this isn't like a woo-woo story. I've had this happen with guys too. Like, the point is that she opened up her blinders, she put herself out there, and she saw something different. So I want to walk you through kind of my secret weapon. Again, as I told you before, this is the name of my podcast. I call it the charisma quotient. And there are 3 areas that we're going to dive into. So, because I want to really teach you how, because you might be saying, okay, well, this MAP strategy is all good and well, but like how? How do I do that? Right. So, like I said, I love charisma because charisma is something that just attracts people to people. It's a magnetic energy that just draws people to you. You know, when a charismatic person connects with someone, their autonomic nervous system becomes aroused and their attention is locked onto that person and they're tingling with energy. And this was a scientist that said that, Alex Pentland. I love that because it really is true. In fact, when clients work with me, sometimes they'll come back to me and they're like, Kim, like my friends and family think that I lost weight, that I got a facial. So I call it the charisma glow. Because when you start having that positive energy, like you become highly attractive. And so there's an attraction factor that goes with charisma. And you might say, oh, well, you know, I'm not that guy. Like you look at celebrities like George Clooney and you're like, oh, well, you know, I can't be him. I'm here to tell you that I've taught this, and this is what research says too. Charisma isn't something we're born with. We learn it. And why I love that is because that means I can teach it. And I have.
Right.
Like I coached an 85-year-old guy a year ago. It didn't matter. And he picked up chicks at the bar. Like this is the stuff that really, again, matters and getting out of your own way. And so I'm breaking it into these 3 areas with your style intelligence, your emotional intelligence, and your social intelligence. So what's tied into all of this, and you guys even said it, is confidence, right? So when you hear the word confidence, what does that mean to you? Like, I just want to see some of your definitions.
Yeah.
What is,
these are good questions.
I'm missing some, like a sidebar over here. Stan Lee, what's going on over there, guys?
Oh.
So when you hear the word confident, like, oh, just be more confident. Like, yeah, fearlessness,
Sure, swagger, know who you are, believing in yourself, not caring what others think, satisfaction with me, able to jump over fears, sure that women will be attracted to me, feel good.
Yes. Love it. Yeah. And these are really like, God, you got some deep guys over here. I love it.
Yeah, they're good guys. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to tell my ladies that I met you all. So the thing is these are all good answers, but I simplify it even more. I just believe confidence is experience. That's all it is. I don't believe any one of you is not confident in one area. But maybe when it comes to dating, you're not confident because why? You don't have dating experience or you haven't had positive exposure to it. So I look at it very simply. It's just like, let's say you're confident at work. When you first learned how to work your trade, it was probably scary. You know, you probably didn't feel confident and you had to fake it till you made it. And then fast forward as you did it day in, day out, day in, day out, then you got confident. Now you could probably do it with your eyes closed. Well, dating is no different. And so some of you were saying you feel a little rusty, or you never knew how to do it, or women scare you and you don't know how to like all of that anxiety you're feeling can go away and you can feel more confident just by putting like a dating plan into place. So you're forced to get out there more and having fun with it and having positive experiences around it. Now, here's the thing. There's 3 areas of confidence. So people think of it more as like an esoteric, kind of like how you guys defined it. Oh, I love the ones that are happening over there. Yep. Dating equals crash and burn. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So like if you're experiencing that and you're having negative experiences, that's when the confidence goes down. And some of you might be crashing and burning because you don't have the right strategies in place. So your approach is wrong, you're getting in your own way, all of these reasons. And so that's why when you look at these 3 types of confidence, I want you to do like a self-assessment, because the scores are going to tell you a lot about you and where you need to work to help you gain more confidence. We have inner confidence, we have external confidence, and we have social confidence. Oh, somebody's saying you seem really intense right now, Marni.
Oh, I was answering a support ticket for somebody who was saying that they couldn't get in. So this is why I have these creases in my eyebrows. furrow when I.
Can I actually, I want to call that out because it's meta to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you see how like we judge based on facial expressions and like somebody was saying, so you might see Marni in a bar with her, like I call it the resting bitch face. We all know that, we've seen it out there. Right. And you might think, guys, that she's not approachable, but the reality is she was just like concentrating on something. Do you see how we do that? So the only way you're going to get over yourself and approach a woman who maybe doesn't look approachable is not caring what she is thinking or doing, and really showing up for yourself and saying, I want to talk to her. F it. Leave it up to her whether or not she wants to respond. And if she doesn't, oh, well.
Yeah. Stop rejecting yourself.
Yes. We just did a little like live demo there. Okay.
I know, that was perfect timing.
Yeah. External. Okay. So the external confidence has to do, and this is goes along with the style IQ, is how you feel on the outside. It's your body image. It's the daddy gut that some of you are saying, your physicality, your outer beauty or handsomeness, your style, your sex appeal. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you guys rate your outer confidence? 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Ooh, we got some higher scores here. Ooh, some guys think they're like hot stuff. I love it.
Amazing. Amazing.
We got some 2s. Yeah. And by the way, like for people who don't feel good, especially with their style, I do virtual makeovers. We can definitely talk about that later. Yeah. Awesome. Well, so we got some higher scores. Great on that. Now, of course, we have the inner confidence. Now, again, I could do a whole workshop on this, but I just want you to know there's a lot of layers within inner confidence. It has to do with not only like the feelings we have inside, but it's like our self-compassion. You know, like if we make a mistake or if we get rejected, are we compassionate to ourselves? How resilient are you? Like if a girl says no to you, are we devastated? Have we gone to the psych ward and like, oh my God, I suck? Or is it, so her loss, going on to the next? Like how fast can you get back up in the rink? Right? That's really important to the confidence. And it goes back to the exposure, because the more and more you do something, the less anxious you will become, and it won't be such a hard hit. So
Brian was saying, why are you showing so many pics of very handsome men? This is don't worry. Kim didn't put this together. These are stock images that my team found, and you're absolutely right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, it was totally so funny.
Right.
When we were putting this together, we were kidding. Like we need more stock photos of like our age group. You know, like
it wasn't available. Like, these things weren't there.
So this could be like a side job for all of you handsome men there. I could see a lot of people. Okay, so yeah. So we got, now we're getting some lower scores with the inner confidence, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now and by the way, if we've been through a divorce, we've had, a death with a spouse, we've had like tanking in your career, like stuff like that. Guess what that does to confidence? I'll never forget like that feeling, because I felt like I was a really confident person before the divorce happened. And then the divorce happened, and I never felt worse in my life. I said, how did that happen? Like, I'm a happy person. I'm a confident person. Why is this happening to me? Anybody relate to that? Or like, maybe you were confident and like all of a sudden you're not. And that's another part of the journey, and why, like, as a therapist, it's so important to also do the inner work. Guys, it's not just about like, how can I get the gal and click on this pic? It's also about doing the work. Right? Like it's both. And now we have social confidence, right? And this has to do with your conversation skills, your flirting. I do flirt workshops all the time. This is huge in my business because we all don't do it. This makes or breaks friend zone to flirt zone. Like I always tell people that. Your social comfort, like how comfortable are you in social situations? Do you get like anxious when you walk into a room? Are you even like that with guys too? Like I work with a lot of social anxiety, just so you know, like that's real. It's not perceived, like that's real stuff. that can impact your dating life. Your interpersonal skills, like how are you able to manage all that? So now I don't know if these scores are coming through in your social confidence, but definitely like, let's keep going with that. 2 to 8. Yeah.
Okay. It's
9.
all over,
Okay.
but some, yeah.
Okay. So let's go in and start. So now we've addressed kind of where you're feeling confident and not confident. I'm going to give you some tips in each of these areas so that you can start implementing some new things for yourself. Okay. So the outer confidence we're going to talk about right now is your style intelligence, if we go along with the charisma quotient. And raising your style IQ is super important, guys. Like, you don't think image matters to you men? You know, like, this is the funniest thing when I do makeovers with guys. Guys never like think that like women really care. They don't really think about it. We care. Like your presentation, buying the right clothes for your body language, your first impressions, this all impacts like how you are perceived by women. Mm-hmm. So here's some quick stats just to back me up, just so you know that this isn't just superficial stuff, it's real. There were studies done on Tinder and found that being well-dressed actually increases your chances of being matched 450%.
Wow. Okay.
Crazy. That's another study found that you can increase your dating success 55% just based on the clothes you wear. This is why I start from the outside, guys. Most people go from the inside out. I flip the script, and I think you have to dial in your marketing first because women might be passing you by. 93% of communication is nonverbal. So what you say, what you're like swimming in your head about of how do I approach and what do I say, isn't even as important as how you show up.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's increased because that used to be 85% and now it's 93%.
Oh my God. And not only that, I'll give you another stat. First impressions have also increased, like in the past, I'd say year and a half to 2 years. Oh, yeah. It used to be 30 seconds to make a first impression. It's now 7 seconds. And I actually would even argue that it's quicker.
It's less. Yeah. Well, you're swiping.
You're swiping. Like, think about it. Now we've been behind the screen for like, a year and a half, 2 years. So like our brains are happening so fast now.
Yeah. I do want to just interject for 1 second. So David had said, I'm very tall and very thin, almost impossible to find clothes, which is common. That's why a tailor is your best friend. And then Dave G said, feels like if you project money, it gets more hits. Can you speak to that for a second?
Oh, I would love to that. Okay. So there was a lot to unpack there. I will say that yes, tailoring is great, especially if you're like short or really tall, because not everything's going to fit you. Right. But having a good fit is super important. The biggest mistake I think men make is that they wear things too big. This is a very common challenge that I did. And in fact, this whole like if a man looks like money, that women like it. Okay, I'm just going to call this out, and I'm going to call you guys out, and I'm going to call women out, because each species is like we're guilty of these two things. So I believe that men and women, we're all visual. I tell women that all the time because the women are like, men are so visual. All they care about is how we look. I said, ladies, so do you. Like, let's not, you care too. But we look at different things. So in that first hit, that 7 seconds, what happens is for you men, you'll look at a woman and you will see whether or not you want to have sex with her. True or true? And I'm talking about like,
drop one in the chat if that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, come on. I'm not talking that you don't want more things. Of course you want the connection, the relationship. I'm saying in that first hit, you're looking at a picture, you're looking at a woman and you're like, could I have sex with her?
Yeah.
End of story. So that's what you look at. Women, we're a little more forgiving. We want to be sexually attracted to, but that's not our first hit. What we look at, like if a guy's a little balding or has a little gut, if you're dressed well and you look successful, that'll override things and will give you a chance. So men look at sex and women look at success. It just is what it is. Like let's just call it, and so knowing that we're all visual, like even in the animal kingdom, the animals are visual. Look at the peacocks that, do we just by nature we are. And so I want just to, prove this point. What do you think this guy does for a living?
Vincent said success or dollars, and it's success. And Kim's going to explain it now.
Yes. Yeah, actually, this example will explain that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily dollars. It's just that here, if you look at cavemen, as you guys are putting in the CEO, cable guy, Jeff Bezos, you got like all over the place. Chief executive, poser, mechanic.
Oh, he reminds me of my dad's friends, mechanic, yeah, or somebody who would also have a cigarette and have dirty fingernails. That's honestly what I think.
Yeah. Well, what's funny nowadays, you see like really, especially for guys, you'll see like really big people going like wearing this stuff, you know, like, but this guy was wearing stuff not because he was trying to like go incognito and have like his signature style. He just didn't know how to dress, period. And let me tell you that women were not attracted to this look. I don't care how wealthy he was or not wealthy. They weren't attracted to him. His clothes were too big. He wore all the wrong thing. He looks sloppy.
Right. And I bet you that those are even expensive jeans and an expensive jacket and expensive, I don't know, the sunglasses.
And I honestly don't even know, but the first hit was that, like, you know, he had pictures like this up in his profile and walking around like, yeah, and you can't see his eyes. Absolutely. Like there was nothing about it. So I don't know if we had a guess of what he did, but he actually, somebody did say he did own a company. He was very wealthy. Okay. It's not that women are after money necessarily, but what it is it's going back to the cavemen, is we want a sense that you can provide for us, that you'll take care of us. Like we feel safe with you. There's this notion of like safety, right? And so I went shopping with him.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now, those of you who said, oh, he looks okay, he looks confident. He did not. To us, he does not look confident. No, and his body language does not say confidence at all.
Wow.
That after
I would date him.
Thank you.
I would totally date him.
Thank you. So if I had a bunch of women in here, guys, I would see, this is my point, is that you men aren't even seeing yourselves. We would not be attracted to that guy before.
It's the same guy.
It's the same guy. In one makeover session, this is what happened. This is why I love the outside, because I mean, look, all these other things we're going to talk about today, it takes a little more time and work, and the inner job is a longer game. But this is instant hit. If you knew how to dress sexy, and when you walk in a room, a woman then is checking you out, you're all of a sudden getting a chance, you know? Yeah. Damn. Phil Collins. He does
it. Phil Collins.
Oh my God. It's Phil Collins. Yeah. Here's another guy. Like, you know, I mean, everybody has different ideas of what like a style is and whatnot.
Yeah.
But as a woman, guys, we are not attracted to that white shirt guy. Like that's not attractive to us. I just want you to see this. So if you see yourself in the before pictures, I want you to call me. We're going to do some work together.
Yeah.
Because
no, but this is such an easy way to shift it. And it also changes your inside. When you look like the after, you can walk around differently because you get noticed differently.
Exactly. Like what Marni said, look at the body language. Look how like non-confident he looks here with his body language. Just this little shift in his hips and his like in the little smirk, he already looks more confident. Same with this guy.
Yeah.
Look at the confidence. So what you wear impacts the body language. So in first impressions, what I wanted to prove to you is that in those 7 seconds, what gets fired in the brain, this is what research says, not me. It's two things that happen. We are making judgments and assumptions based on the clothes you wear and the attitude that you have. End of story. That's it. That's it. That's why it's so important to get this dialed in, especially when you're feeling rusty, especially if you don't know how to date. This is the stuff that can like increase that confidence. And maybe what you think is well-dressed isn't a sexy image either. That's the other thing I see is guys are like, oh yeah, I know how to dress. But maybe you're not thinking about what a woman likes, right? Okay. So when you're putting together a wardrobe, just dress in a way that makes you feel confident. Your goal, like on a first date or on your profile, is to have a sex appeal. Think of it as your dating costume. That's what I call, like, and I tell women that all the time, like, oh, I don't want to wear heels because of it. And like, no. It's a costume. Just show up. The guys will love it. Like your first hit, you just want to look amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Clothes should be updated. And again, we don't have time to go into like every piece and what goes into that and all that. But I want you to just start thinking about your wardrobe. So here's Frank. I just want you to see Frank is an awesome guy. He was getting no clicks on his pics. He couldn't find women for the life of him. He's in our demographics for, I think he was in his late 40s at the time when I worked with him. He's like, Kim, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. And so poor Frank, like it was not a good look. Okay. Like even you guys can see that, right?
Right.
So we went shopping and this happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like Marni as a woman, right?
Yeah.
So what happened after our whole experience together, and I do wing gal sessions too, where I, help people approach, blah, blah. He went home, he started dating up a storm. It was just getting unstuck in a lot of ways. So the goal is with your style intelligence, guys, you want up-to-date hair and clothes. I saw there was a hairdresser in the house. Woot, woot. Yeah, like groom yourselves. We don't ask for much. I mean, just like trim the nose hairs, guys. Like seriously, like we're looking at that stuff. Like your nails, like are you
I hate long nails and dirty nails.
Oh my God, like your hygiene, get some layered looks, like, I love leather jackets. I think it adds a real like kind of like sex appeal to a guy. Wear clothes that are more fitted. Yes, a manicure. Richard said it right. A manicure.
Yeah. One question was,
yes,
in Texas, hot most of the year and very casual. How to make this work and be comfortable?
Yes,
it's not all long shirts, long pants. There's definitely ways to do this and still be comfortable. And you can talk to Kim about this afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's seasonal and there are things, I love doing manovers, I call them, because, you guys are pretty simple and in the way that, and the styles don't change that much from year to year. Yeah. I think if you just dial in some key pieces for each season with intention, with a sex appeal, like you guys are good. It'll last you a long time. Yeah. So drop a 1 if you need updating. I see a lot of ones have, oh my God, somebody like, keeping up with style, 0.05. Oh my God. Okay. We got to talk. You all have a chance to talk to me, by the way, at the end. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. So we found a pain point. I just find it funny, Marni, that everyone said they felt like they were 7, 8, 9 until I just presented this. Right. Suddenly the scores are lower. Yeah. No,
but at least that confidence is there. So that means you're in a good place. You just fix up that outer. Oh my God. And that's a huge transition right there.
Exactly. And I just want to note that, having a good online first impression is huge. Like I call it like dialing in your marketing, right? Like we do this for business. You see this on websites. Guys, if you have, let's say 2 websites and you have the same content. Okay. So the content being like, you're the content, like you're a great guy. If the one website that has the same content is old, antiquated, doesn't move, doesn't look slick, isn't cool, and then there's another one that's up to date, that looks amazing, looks professional, which one are you going to trust and click on? Most people are going to do the updated ones, right? We are no different than a website. We're like walking billboards. You have to, and so having that good impression online, I see so many guys have the wrong pictures. They could be good looking in person, but they're not being mindful of their pictures. So again, whole other workshop, but I just want to share a funny thing that I did in my workshop with a bunch of women. And it was a flirt workshop. And I put this picture up. This was a real picture in a website. And I said, ladies, how many of you would date this guy? And all of them are writing on there because I have them write on Zoom. Everyone's like, me. And there's like all these like raising their hands, blah, blah. And most women liked. I said, okay, how many of you would date this guy? And then almost unanimously, they all said no. They all said, oh my God, I take it back. Guys, this was a real profile. And it was his pictures back to back. Mm-hmm. You are only as good as your worst picture.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So I'll just leave you with a strategy that you all can do. I call it the 3C strategy. And it's almost like doing a closet audit for yourself. It's looking at what makes you feel confident, right? Like you all probably have an outfit. If you had a date tomorrow, what would you put on? Look at that outfit and determine, what do you like about that outfit? Is it like the way that the material feels? Do you like the color? Do girls compliment you in it? And just determine some of like the key components of it and just get more of it. And if you need my help, again, like I'm here for you, but like, this is something you can just start like cleaning out your closet. That's another thing. Like when you're dating later on in life, I can't tell, oh my God, there's so many guys, their closet has not been clean since 1990. Like if you still have the acid wash jeans and the pleated pants, guys, like we got to have a ceremony. we gotta burn those clothes. Just quick story. I did a makeover at a guy in Denver. He flew me out there. I said, just get rid of some clothes before we go shopping. I went into his closet. He's like, no, Kimmy, we're good. Like I cleared out everything. I cleared out everything in there and I left one item up just so he could go shopping. Nothing fit him. And he thought he was good. And we had this whole pile. It's actually on YouTube. I filmed it. There's a whole pile just sitting there. And so like, just think about that for yourself. Also, color really matters. I will say a great color for guys is blue. Blue actually means authority. Like there's an association with authority. And also most guys look good in blue. So even like in your photos on a date, there's variations of blue, but color really can make you look awesome. I would stay away from like beige and washed out colors, because that also, women might just miss your pictures or you look dull. So again, there's associations with color and the cut. Again, if you have the baggy like jerseys on, it's not a good look. Just get stuff that fits. Okay, let's move into body language secrets. Marni and I did a little spontaneous demo just now with her resting bitch face, but guys, like we're reading your signals too. Both men and women have responsibility and approachability, and a lot of it has to do with body language. 93% of communication is nonverbal. This all has to do with things like posture, your eye contact. Do you know tonality? Your voice is actually a body language. They consider it a nonverbal signal because I've worked with guys who were like low talkers, and that seems like you're not confident, or like nasally voice, or that you like, there's things that like will respond to. Habits. Your body, your smile, these are sending signals. So here are some of the fears that I hear a lot of people say, like putting themselves out there with their body language. I'm too shy. I'm not like that kind of guy that walks in the room, and owns it. I don't feel comfortable making eye contact. Like how many of you don't like making eye contact? There's a weird thing with COVID happening, guys, where I just, it's weird. It's almost like the mask has caused a lot of us to like avoid each other's eyes. Have you guys experienced that?
Yes.
Maybe like you were fine with eye contact before. So we have to retrain ourselves. And even when you have the masks on, depending on where you live.
Especially when you have the mask on.
Especially because it also, think of it as a challenge. How else can you connect with a woman without relying on other things? Mm-hmm. Just because she can't see your smile and you can't see her, I call it's the new masquerade. Like who is behind that sexy mask? Like have a little fun with it. You could even use the mask as an approach. I feel creepy. I don't want to give the woman the wrong idea, right? Like maybe you're scared to approach with your body. I'm awkward. I don't feel comfortable in my body. I'll never forget a guy I was coaching. I still remember his name, Doug. We're still friends today. He has a girlfriend now. It's great. He, every time would talk to a woman that he deemed as beautiful, he would do this. He'd take his right hand and he'd put it across his body and he'd go like this. Right. Like, and he looked uncomfortable. He looked non-confident. And I saw him do it once and twice and three times. I said, oh my God, Doug, you do you know that every time you talk to a pretty woman, you're doing this? It's like, no, I didn't even realize that. And so and this was just doing a little therapy. When he was 7 years old, he had memories of his mom was very like demonstrative. And every time his mom would like yell at him or have some sort of like bold statement, he would do that. And he associated pretty women with feeling like in a presence of a powerful woman. It was so interesting. And so we just got him to stop doing that. Like that's how easy it was. And so I just kept like signaling him. So then he stopped and then he seemed more confident with women. Like these are so powerful. I'm too old to do the whole sexy thing. You're not too old, guys. I don't even know what to do or how I'm coming across. Most of the time, that's what people say. It's hard to see ourselves. People say I appear anxious or standoffish, right? So I want to go over the different areas of body language to start thinking about. And normally if we have more time, I would do like exercises with you, but just you can start even thinking about that for yourself. So the first signal that we all think about are facial expressions. Are you smiling? You know, are you using eye contact? But we all look at this first. That's why the mask thing has been so hard, but really be mindful of making eye contact, being enthusiastic when you talk to someone. You know, you can, both men and women tilt their head a little bit when they're interested. Don't keep the eyes down, you know, don't avoid. A lot of guys avoid like that. It's not sexy. And then if you try to approach the woman when you haven't made the eye contact, that's when it's creepy, right? Like if you're standing in the corner and you're just staring at a woman or you're like avoiding and you haven't made that like kind of sexy contact, she's going to think you're creepy because there hadn't been that established body language first. And I'm calling guys' version of RBFs, RGFs, resting guy face, because I see grimaces too on guys. It's not just girls. Yeah,
it's true.
So it's true, guys. Like you.
So what would be the exercise? I know you don't have to have that, but like the quick exercise for guys to practice all of these things, like little things that make an impact. So what should they do for the next 10 days after this class?
So here's a game. I like to gamify things.
Me too.
Because I just think it's super fun. Like maybe in the next week, I challenge you to count like how many blue eyes you see of women. Just start noticing, right? And if you make it less about making eye contact and more about the game, see if that's easier for you.
Oh, I like that. Great.
Right? So little things like that. And smile. So this is another, just practice smiling in the next week. If you're in a place where you can't smile with the mask on, smile with your eyes by just like acknowledging a woman. You can still smile with the eyes, guys. Give a signal that you're approachable and friendly too. We're looking for that. And notice just who's noticing you. Women check you out too. Maybe you're not catching it, but we're checking you out. Absolutely. But if you're not comfortable within yourself and you don't think you're sexy, then you may not be looking at that. It's my red dress. I had such problems really getting comfortable being seen. And if that's you, get comfortable, but just practice it. Now, the secret tool about holding the gaze for 3 seconds, they teach it for women, but I think men can also practice this. And what the 3-second rule is, I don't know, Marni, if you teach this as well, but as a woman, it's when you meet or see a girl, I can't do it because I'm a woman, but I would do this like to you guys. Okay. So I would see a guy and I'd make eye contact with you. And then maybe I would look away and talk to my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd look again. just so that you know that it wasn't a fluke, that, yeah, game's on.
Yes, of course.
Right. You guys can do that too. Like you can check out a woman and then like, yeah, kind of just be coy and then just like lock your eyes again. But don't hold the gaze too long, because then that goes into the creepy thing.
Right.
Don't like, stare. We don't like that. Okay. So here's some facial signs. This is interesting. These are just research based. I didn't make these up. For men actually, you guys lift your eyebrows when you're interested. Isn't that interesting? Like when you like a woman, you'll lift your eyebrows. Your lips actually fall apart, like when you're talking. You scan a woman with your eyes, and I tell women, like, don't like get creeped out. Like you should want a guy who actually is checking you out, but don't do like, hey, like we don't like the whole like obvious thing, but yeah, you'll do a little like that, like a little glance. And then your nostrils flare. So caveman. It's so funny. For women, we'll do a little grin, we'll kind of like do, or a little smirk. Our pupils dilate, which is, I thought that's interesting. We're sexually attracted to you. Well, yeah. And then that eye movement thing, like the 3 second, we do that. Also, I'll add another one. We'll play with our hair. We'll like, kind of twirl our hair, we'll tilt our head like that. That's a sign of attraction, that kind of thing. Okay. So that's what's going on here. Body signal number 2, just be mindful of your posture. Like you're walking into a room, just stand still, stand up, stand straight, shoulders back, head upright. Okay. Actually, this will be a good, you guys stand up right now, because I'm seeing a lot of people like getting squirmy. Everyone stand up right now. I can see some of you in the camera. Let's just get you moving here. There's something called the power pose. Have you guys learned this? Amy Cootie, she did a whole TED talk on actually when you have a power pose, and I'm not going to stand up because you won't see my face. I'll just do a little thing. If you put hands on the hips and you do this, then you stand upright. If you do that for a minute, like before you walk in a room or on a date, physiologically, you actually will be more confident. Like the energy runs through your body and you will like walk in with more confidence. It's been studied. There's a physiological response. Okay, good. So we got a little move in here. Okay. So don't slump over, cross the arms, put the head down like that. That all shows signals that, either you're not interested or you're mean, that kind of thing. Stand or sit with your palms slightly exposed with your arm. Like, see how this guy is? I tell women, this is so funny. Do you know this is like showing your manlyhood? This is like caveman. They
my penis. Yeah.
Yes. Look at my manlyhood. Don't ever cross your arms or your legs. That's closed off. And it's the open display. Take up more space, Stuart. Yes. And the power of touch. Yes, again, with the whole this whole thing that we've been in with the pandemic has caused a lot of fear around touching each other, being close to each other. Hopefully we're getting back to that. And if you're getting close enough to a woman where you feel comfortable for the two of you, just like lightly touching her, that shows interest, or standing close to her. If you're going on a date, guys, the best thing you can do is find a place where there's like a sushi bar or a place where you can be right next to her. The table adds a wedge in between you, and it's not as sexy. You don't feel that chemistry as much. So I always tell people, or go to happy hour, whatever your choice is. Okay. And body signal number 3 is positioning. A lot of people don't think about positioning. Position yourself to increase your chances of conversations. Where are you standing in the room? Where do you place yourself at the bar? I teach this all the time where scan the room and see where you can put your body so that you have the best chances of talking to women. And again, if you have fear around it, you have anxiety around it, force yourself to just at least be around female energy. So you start getting comfortable with that, because that'll be your best chance to like approach her. It's harder to come from like 20 feet back and then slowly walk towards her. That's
Right.
that's a harder thing to do. Yeah. That guy drinking tea. Hey, it could be,
he's owning his choice. He wants tea.
Exactly. Right. No judgment. Or it could be like an espresso and vodka. We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't stand in front of a woman. It's actually a sign of aggression. So like if you're standing, it's hard to kind of show you this, but like really far apart and you're directly like facing her like that, it feels unsafe. Actually, in the animal kingdom, they've seen something. It's like it's a hunting kind of position. Mm-hmm. So what you want to do is actually angle your body and do like shoulder to shoulder. So there's a V. I know, like Marni, you probably teach some of this too. It's like there's a safety feeling around here, and that V is there's like an opening, but yet you're still connected with the shoulders, and that feels really like sexy too. It causes some attraction.
Yeah.
And have that confident, upright posture. Do that power pose before going in. All right. So does your body language need some work? Drop one in a chat. Let's be honest. Like as you're thinking about some of these things I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
These are all little things that Kim is saying, but so far we see that like even these little improvements that are so simple, they're external, can have a major impact on you, your dating life, and your interactions with women. So everything that she has shared so far is doable by every single person who is watching this.
That's why this stuff excites me. I get so jazzed about it because I see this over and over and over again, where when people change the way that they carry themselves, their presentation, they are seen as more confident, even if you're not. Even if you're not, you're seen as more confident. Therefore, it gives you more chances to approach. And there's this symbiotic thing that goes on between the outer and the inner. It raises your confidence. And that's that first hit. So many of you are just getting tripped up in this first moment. I always tell people, if you want to change the story, you got to go back to the beginning and change the script. These are those the minute you say hello, you're setting a tone. You can do this on, you practice a lot of this stuff online. You can't practice body language online, but you can be mindful of your body positioning in the pictures. Because as you saw with those guys, some of those body positions in the before pictures looked non-confident.
Yes.
So just changing that, right?
Actually, right, so what is a tip for some guys? I know I'm jumping ahead, but like, what is a tip for some guys if they don't happen to have access to great pictures of themselves and they don't want to pay for professional pictures? Like, how do you get a good picture with good body language? What would be a tip for them?
So yeah, what I would say is, first of all, nowadays there's this thing called iPhone. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Super powerful. Get a lady friend, somebody to take a bunch of pictures of you, one day and just do a photo day for yourself. But before you do that, either have a virtual makeover with me or go shopping with a lady or go to a personal shopping and get like 3 outfits that looks good. Like update your wardrobe a little bit and go outside and take pictures, because lighting also is important. So positioning, your wardrobe, and lighting are 3 key factors in a good picture. And take some updated pictures of yourself. That's another thing I see. Oh my God, so many of you are throwing up pictures that are like 5 years older. You don't like when women show up with old pictures, do you? We don't either. Okay, here's the thing, guys. What you like in women, we like in you. Right. Everybody thinks we're so different. We're not. We're not. So, okay. I'm confident as hell. I just chunk between there. Oh, chunk between. Well, and here's the thing too, is that once you know what clothes flatter your figure and what clothes to stay away from, and this is what I teach, I'm very scientific in the way I approach clothes. It's just knowing your body type, what brands fit you, what brand, what kind of cuts to stay away from. You can actually conceal those chunky areas or areas that you deem as like, I'm not that confident in, that kind of thing. So clothes can do wonders for your body. I'm just saying. And then you'll also feel more confident going in. So, okay. Oh, wait, I didn't actually address this question. So what has been your biggest takeaway so far? I'm just curious we just talked about your style, intelligence, raising kind of your outer confidence. What landed with you? Maybe something you didn't know, maybe it was something that you know you need to work on. I'd love.
So Gruz wrote, what do you mean by lighting?
Oh, lighting in a picture. So like a lot of guys have pictures of them and it's really poor lighting and we can't even see you. You know, so lighting in a picture really matters. Like, I mean, you all are looking at me. I have a light on. Look at what impression I would have if I did this. It's lower light. It's not as bright. Like even stuff like this matters when you're having Zoom dates. Make sure you have light on you. It makes a big difference.
Okay, so guys said style matters, image, confidence, and persona, style angling. I need a wardrobe makeover. My wardrobe, style, outer confidence, importance of body language, projecting and confidence. Oh, wow. Clothes, body language. You have to think of yourself as awesome and sexy for women to think of you this way.
Oh, I love that you guys are
Updating profile pictures. This is great. You're listening.
Yay. And I like that there's like a variety of things that's landing with you. So you see, like, it's not superficial. There's a lot here. All right, let's go inward now. So now we're feeling good on the outside. We're starting to like have a little swagger. Let's focus more on what I call the emotional intelligence piece. And this is that inner confidence. So emotional IQ is the big buzzword right now. And actually, this is hot off the press. I just, Time Magazine, I think it was Time Magazine. I may be misquoting, but it just came out with a study that the most attractive things that we're looking for in a partner now has to do with emotional maturity. And this is more so than any other years we've seen. And I think it's because we're really like coming out of this place of self-reflection and what we really want. And it's like, we want somebody who is emotionally compatible, that, and especially as you're dating in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, this is your chance to have something different this time around. So maybe you didn't have that back then because you picked a fish that was just the shiny object, but then you realized there was no substance, right? That's why this stuff is really important. So once I get people feeling really like good about themselves, now this is where more of the work comes in. So how do you identify, express, and manage your thoughts and feelings? Guys don't think about this as much as women. We're more emotional beings, but let me tell you guys, if you can tap into our world, if you can tap in to our language and how we feel, and you are also in your vulnerability, it's the hottest thing ever to us. Honestly, there's nothing hotter than a guy. And I'm not talking about who's like weepy or weak. Like that's what our generation thinks, oh, emotional guys are weak. Actually, that is a generational thing that we're seeing the difference in. Do you know they're teaching emotional intelligence now in preschools? It's more normalized in the younger, generations. We were not taught that. But I kid you not, it is such an important thing to dial in. And you actually can create more chemistry and connection with being more vulnerable. But it has to be done in a way that maybe you haven't learned before. It's not being whiny. Okay. So authenticity and being true to yourself. Like, how do you show up as your authentic self? I know a lot of guys that I work with who are just over caretakers. Maybe you were always caring for women, but you never showed up for yourself. And how do you get your needs met this time? But you have to show up as you, not cater to somebody else's needs. Because then they're not going to know what you want and need, and you're going to attract that lopsided relationship. Yeah. So vulnerability is super important. Guys, don't be scared to tell us how you feel. If you're getting excited by a woman, tell her. See, a lot of guys hold back. They're scared that they're going to get rejected in those beginning phases.
Right. Or they're scared that it comes across as too needy. Right.
Too needy. There's so much fear. It's all fear-based. But the reality is that we love it. We do. If you can just tell us how you feel about us, wow, we don't have to guess. We're always trying to guess how you feel, because sometimes you're you guys are so stoic all the time, or you're too focused on us, or so yeah, vulnerability is hot.
And I would say as you get older, it's actually more important to be able to be vulnerable. So I'm just going to tell a quick story for a second. So my
Oh,
sister-in-law, who's 45, she's now, well, they're getting married. He's 50, but she said in their first 2 weeks of dating, he actually said to her, the truth is, I've dated a lot of women. I really like you. And I know that this is going to seem like I'm coming on too strong. I'm not typically like this. I'm going away for 3 weeks. I want to see you every day next week if I can, because I'm enjoying getting to know you. That's vulnerable. It was said confidently and boldly, but it was extremely vulnerable of him because he put his emotions out there, and she's engaged to him now and getting married after knowing him for 3 months. So exactly what Kim is saying about vulnerability, it's even more appreciated when you are older, and especially when the women are older, maybe not necessarily younger women, but they still want to hear that you're thinking and feeling something. It's very appreciated by all women.
I love that. I just want to address something. I see Greg, you said, as soon as she knows I'm into her, I'm ghosted. I hear that a lot, that sometimes guys feel like they get friend zoned if they tell, or, or it feels too much. So what I will say about this, because obviously we don't have time to get into every nuance, but there is a pacing and a progression with all this too. Right. And it's knowing how to build on that there are appropriate stages of emotions, and that what you share and how you share it, like in the courting phase, it's different than when you're in the dating phase, and different than when you're in the relationship. Those are the 3 phases of dating, how I usually see it. So that's something to learn, right? So if that's hard for you, definitely would love to chat with you, because that is something where a lot of times people fall. And at the end of the day, and this is what this next slide is about, is that if a woman rejects you and you are like trying everything you can and you're working so hard and she's not reciprocating, you got to start thinking that maybe she's not your girl.
Yeah.
That your girl is going to respond to you. And but again, it's looking at patterns as well, and that's why I like doing like a pattern recognition and then a disruption based on like what's going on with you. But if you can get past the rejection piece and know that you're resilient, that you're going to bounce back, that you're going to learn strategies, you're going to use my MAP, mindset, approach, and perspective, to really get out of that state of rejection, that's when things become also more fun and more real and more present. So many of you, because you're in your head and your fear is you're not being present. And part of emotional intelligence and authenticity and all that is really being with somebody and connecting rather than worrying on what's going on in your head.
Yeah. I do want to add one note about that though, because I know you don't want to dive into it, but I just did a podcast today with Kristen. Many of you know who she is, my host my podcast. She just started dating somebody recently, and we were talking about when is too soon. So this is like, it's obviously a topic that has hit a pain point for many of you. And somebody mentioned, you get labeled as too intense or too needy. And it's typically when you are not being aware of how the other person, being the woman, is responding to you. So it's intense when you're texting all the time and she's texting you back a sentence. You're asking her to go out Thursday and Saturday. She's iffy about one day, but will kind of see you the other day. And Kristen was saying for her, what she was doing with her now boyfriend in the very beginning was she was responsive to everything that he was putting out there. So she was equally as into him as he was into her. He said, hey, do you want to hang out on Thursday? And she didn't say, oh, well, I have to do this and this and this. She said, yeah, I'm going to hang out with you on Thursday. And then when they were out on a date and he said, confidently, because somebody asked, how do you do this masculinely and be vulnerable? And he confidently said, same thing my sister-in-law's now fiance said, yeah, I know this seems crazy, but I'd love to see you again on Saturday. I've dated other girls. There's something different about you. And it's everything Kim has talked about in this presentation. It's not like, yeah, I really like you. You're different than any other girl. And maybe you'd want to see me again on Saturday. It's eye contact. It's open body language. It is looking at this woman and saying, I know I'm freaking awesome. I could date anybody else in here, but I'm choosing to date you. And I want to date you Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Are you up to do that with me? It's again, everything she's taught leading up to now. That's where the masculinity comes from and the confidence comes from. And then you can be vulnerable, right? These are all the pieces that you need. And so you will be presented as needy if you appear needy on the outside, and then you actually are needy, meaning that you're needing more from somebody than they are giving to you. You're not needy if you want something and they want it back. Sorry that I jumped in on this, but I just wanted
No,
to
I love
expand on
it.
that. Yeah,
I love it.
it's a
Yeah,
big topic for guys, I think.
it
Yeah.
is. And part of what you're saying too is really, and actually I'm going to be addressing that in a bit, part of social intelligence, because often guys are missing social cues on what the woman is giving them. And because you guys are thinking too much of the inner dialogue and what you want to say, because you're getting nervous or whatever it is, and you're not really listening. You're not listening to yourself and you're not listening to her. And that's part of the presence that I was talking about. So like what Marni is saying, that is a beautiful example of how it's all intertwined. That's why I cannot teach like one component without the other, because you see how like it's all connected. And so expressing yourself, like, again, this is all research based, it's going to increase your likability factor. Likability factor isn't talked about enough. It doesn't even matter, guys, what you say. It's how a woman feels when she's with you. Mm-hmm. And if you are a likable guy, you're expressing yourself, you're really present, you're into her, that's the really good beginning, because she'll remember liking you, not about even the content of the conversations most of the time. Mm-hmm. Have a stronger connection with others, because again, like you're more into that feeling base. Be more authentic in your relationships. You won't attract lopsided relationships. I see all the time guys who are over caretakers, who don't express their needs, attract takers. That could be like narcissist, borderlines, like, okay, we can diagnose till the cows come home. The end of the story, I just label them as takers. Like, how many of you were in relationships with takers? But then you got to, again, you can't change her, but you can look at, well, what were you doing to even allow her to give back to you in those beginning stages? So you might have attracted a taker because you didn't show up. Mm-hmm. You'll feel less resentment and anger because you're just like kind of saying how you feel. And it's like, oh, why isn't she doing this for me? Well, you never asked. You never said. And you'll get your needs met.
Yeah. And you can say that. You say, hey, I'm doing like a temperature read right now. I'm having a good time. I want to make sure that you're enjoying yourself too. Like you as an older man, you can say these things because we don't want the bullshit. That's the wonderful thing about being older. When you're younger, maybe that's not true. Maybe some of the girls now who are learning more emotional intelligence. Like I've watched Bachelor in Paradise recently, way more communicative and way more expressive in recent episodes than they were in the past. But I am telling you, the fact that you are older is such a blessing for you, because open communication is even more appreciated. So if you can say on your second date, like, I'm looking for something serious here. I'm in the market for a partner. Like, that's appreciated by the women that you're on dates with. It's very lucky for you that you are in this age group now dating, or it can be.
Something interesting, I think somebody even chatted in the chat that what we've been seeing in the industry that has actually been a benefit to the pandemic is that more than any other time has people learned how to emotionally connect with each other, because we can't rely on the physical, right? So we were all forced to build emotional. Well, one or two things happened. Either people shut down and didn't do anything and said, I'm going to wait till this thing is over. Or people are like, I'm going to learn how to deal with this. And so they learned. I can't tell you how many relationships I helped people get in during this time, because they said, wow, it's called slow dating. I learned how to date in a slower way because I learned how to emotionally connect. The emotional chemistry is the most powerful chemistry there are. And that's what you guys, we all have advantage in our 40s, 50s, and 60s because we are more mature in some ways. Now, just adding that emotional component to it, it's gold. So this is a strength exercise, and I'm just noticing the time, Marni. Are we good? And are you all, just want to do a temperature check? Are you all good if we go a little over today? Because I just want to make sure that we get everything like into you guys. One. Okay.
Oh, you're wonderful, Kim.
Okay. I just want to make sure
I'm with you.
I'm trying to read body language and I don't see a lot of like smiles. So I'm just checking in with you. Oh, Jim's
they have their, they have their resting, whatever face.
The resting guy face.
Yeah, they're focusing. They're attentive.
I totally made that up, but I feel like that's real. Okay.
Listen, everybody has stayed on. Nobody has left, so they are listening to you.
No one leave the building. And I also have like goodies for you at the end. Okay. But I will kind of skim over this, and this is something you all can do at home, because I'd rather you like take time and do this. I do this with all my clients. I wanted to share with you. This is a great thing to just start owning your self-worth. And by writing, you can either, you're all getting the slides to this, right? They're getting the copy to this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll have this if you want to go back. But on a piece of paper or on a Google sheet, just write out physical traits, talents and skills, personality, relationship skills. And I want you to like name 3 things that you love about yourself in each of these areas. This is your self-worth. And then go back and look at, well, what was the hardest area for you? Like, was there an area you couldn't even come up with one? And which were the areas that you just breezed through? That's going to help you determine how you see your self-worth and your kind of like value. Because part of emotional intelligence, part of stating your needs and wants and desires is knowing who you are. And guys, if you don't know who you are, you got to start there. I can't tell you how many times I ask that question and people have no idea. They're like, well, I know what I want to be. I know what I want, but I guess I never really thought about who I am and my worth to a woman. Right? You all are really valuable. You seriously are gold. I can't tell your age group, especially all the women are looking for you. But if you don't think you are, then how is a woman supposed to think you are? Okay, so how many of you need to work on your self-expression, like all the stuff that we're talking about with your emotional intelligence? Put a 1 in the chat. Yeah, awesome. And I love that guys, just look in the chat of how we're all joining here.
Yeah. It's
like
difficult.
You're not alone.
You weren't taught this. Yeah. So even I had a coaching client today or yesterday, I totally forget now, who was dating a girl since March. And he said that she broke up with him because he wasn't telling her how he felt about her. He had never really said how he felt about her. And then she was judging by his actions, right? So he would be away from her and he wouldn't contact her because he was afraid to appear needy. But for her, she's like, oh, that means he's not into me. That means he's not thinking about me. And so once a girl's invested, she wants you thinking about her. She doesn't want you only thinking about her. She wants you to go have fun with your friends and then think about her while you're there. And so one little tidbit of information or task that I gave to him was, with every time that you hang out with a woman, you want to give her a little bit of emotion. So for example, if you go on a date with a woman, you can say something as simple as, I had a really good time with you, to her face, right? I enjoyed listening to you laugh, or some callback to your date, something that's saying, I kind of like you. I'm into this. I'll be around tomorrow if you want to be around as well. And as you start to get to know the woman more, you can say more intimate, deep things, and you gradually go from there. Again, you're not pouring your heart out to the woman, but you're slowly sharing your inside thoughts. Yeah, sorry, just to
I know, I love that. And I'm going to even give you a tip that Marni that was beautiful. Like, because I have this whole like social engagement formula that I teach people on how to get out of their head and more into like, kind of that emotion talk without looking like, too feminine or uncool but it's more about, and do you know, guys, that just by inserting the words I and an emotion, a feeling, with like what Marni just said, it can make or break how that lands with a woman. So saying, yeah, we should do this sometime, again, isn't as powerful. It's still saying like, okay, you want to see her, but you're not saying that you want it and how you feel. Yeah, we should do this sometime again, isn't your feelings. But I had so much fun with you. I'm feeling a connection here. I want to see you again.
Oh, see, that's sexy.
Damn,
if I'm
right?
feeling the same thing,
Yeah.
that's sexy.
Yeah.
And it's confident. That is not a needy statement. Because then it also gives her opportunity to say, I don't know if I'm feeling that same thing, potentially, right?
Yes.
And she knows where you stand. So I'm all for expressing what you want and what you're thinking in the confident way that Kim just displayed. That was perfection.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm seeing Vincent say, we're not mind readers, so no communication can turn into the wrong comprehension. These are the kinds of things that I would love to address it in Q&A or in our VIP session, because there's so much layer in that statement. And the fact that you're trying to determine what the woman thinks and not come from a place of what you think and feel is the exact problem, is exactly what I'm talking about. Because so many of you are trying to read whether or not the woman wants you because you're fearing rejection, and you're like, I can't read this. And believe me, guys, I'm on my women too. I'm not calling just you out, because I tell women all the time, you got to express yourself. You got to show the guys you're interested in how you're feeling in it, because of what Vincent just said, so, but you be bold and you express your desires, and you will see a huge difference in the way the women will respond. Okay, we got to move on. What has been your biggest takeaway so far? So we're about to move into the third pillar, and then we'll open it up, and I have something to share with you.
Yeah. And I agree with Dustin. It's better to own it. And if you're rejected, then you are not wasting your time with someone who isn't on the same wavelength. Okay. Speak up, say the thing, be bold, express your interest, taking control, changing my wardrobe.
Okay, Richard, not the wardrobe. That's about the emotional intelligence piece. What would you say the biggest takeaway?
Be vulnerable, but confident. Yeah, Richard, sorry. Yes, definitely. 3-second rule, emotional IQ, get out of my head, speak up, expressing yourself.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Very important. That was a really important point that Kim made. The more that you're trying to protect yourself, thinking, what does she want? How does she feel about me? Versus, I'm going to express what I want and see if she's on the same page, or I'm going to express what I want and we'll see what happens. That's the shift. That's the inner confidence shift of, I'm just going to say my needs. And if she doesn't take it, somebody else will. When that shift happens, you won't be asking these questions anymore. And they can simply happen by you deciding you want the shift to happen.
Yeah.
So get out of your 100%. Damn way. Yes.
Out of your damn way. Yeah. And okay, another just cute story in reverse, just to demonstrate how like women do this too. I was coaching a woman, and we walked into a bar, and it was like a bar that was like a V, right? And there was a chair empty here, a guy next to the empty chair, and another empty chair. So the guy was kind of in the middle of the two empty chairs. And then there were two empty chairs on the end. And I said to my client, well, where would you sit if I wasn't with you? And maybe you were just with a girlfriend. She's like, well, naturally I would sit at the end where the two empty chairs are. And I said, wrong answer. She's like, why? She's like, well, we can't sit like by that guy, we can't ask him to move. He looks busy. Like he wouldn't want it. Like, so she had all this conversation going on in her head. We can't do that because ... I said, what are you here for? What do you want? What do you want? She's like, well, I want to talk to guys. I said, well, that's not going to happen if we sit down there. So let's go after what you want. What's the worst thing that can happen? He says no. Right? Like, who cares? But no guy is going to turn away two cute girls saying hi. I knew that. So I just went up to the guy, and I said, with a smile and a wink, I said, hi, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind moving down. My girlfriend and I, we would enjoy like sitting here in the middle. Is that okay? And I said, unless you want us to straddle you here. And he laughed, I was just being funny. And so he's like, of course. And he's like, maybe later. So we were just having like this funny conversation. That guy was awesome. And he ended up, not being bothered. In fact, he was just bored because he had no one to talk to, So again, this happens in reverse as well. So let's get into the social confidence. This is the last pillar. Oh, you like that escalation? Thank you. Okay, so this is, again, can you see how each of these like pillars that I'm going over could be a class in itself? And That's why I have something for you at the end. But honestly, like all of this is so important. The social intelligence piece has to do with how you read people. It's like what Marni and I were talking about, like reading social cues, how you communicate with people. And yes, it includes flirting. Flirting is so important. One of the components is obviously conversation skills. I hear this complaint all the time. You know, I don't know how to progress in a conversation, you know, whether it's online or off. How do I get from A to Z? You know, so what's the hardest part about progressing in a conversation that leads to dates for you? I'd love to hear just like what's hard.
Ooh, good. Well, I think the hardest thing for so many guys that I hear is it ties to something you said before. Like, I think that guys try to have conversations that they think women want to have rather than having conversation for themselves and then figuring out how to tie it in together. But it's exactly where I blow it. Flirting, getting information out of her to work with, finding a topic just to keep it going, keep it going. Yes, flirting, small talk. Flirting is hard for me. Starting the conversation. I sometimes slip and talk about sex. Not always bad sometimes. Looking for body language. Yeah. So making the commitment to ask for the date. I'm a good listener, but I tend not to offer my own stories. That's no good. Figuring out what to say.
Awesome. So again, I'm not a mind reader, just so you know that you're not alone. You'll see some very common things that you guys just said. She won't be interested in me. They're out of my league. I'm too old, fat, unattractive. She's probably taken, like, you guys are like in your heads too much, right? There's so many other good looking guys, you know, I don't know what to say to keep the conversation going. She doesn't seem interested. So again, you're worrying about what she thinks rather than what you think. Why bother? She looks busy. I don't want to interrupt. If she was interested in me, she would give me some signal so that I would approach her. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to be rejected. Here's the thing. So there's actually, when I'm working with people, I teach that there's 3 phases in conversation. And actually, you might be strong in one phase and not in another. Okay. So initiation is what we think of in the approach, you know, like approaching somebody, getting that courage. What is the first thing that you're going to say? Then you move into the second phase, which I call sustainment and engagement. And that's how long you can maintain a conversation. So you ever have a conversation and it's going for about 30 seconds, a minute, and then it just plummets, it dies. It's like, oh, now what? Then if it's still going, then we have like creating a meaningful connection. How do you know that? It's like, you could just talk for hours, or, oh my God, I need to like see this woman again. You know, you have established some sort of conversation that has meaning attached to it. Like, I've had conversations with guys, or when I'm coaching, where it's like, you know, this is some of the best conversations I've had in a long time. Thank you. Like, you know, you've made it when it's gotten to that point, and that there's follow-up. So when you think about those 3 phases, what do you, or, you know, like, what is the trouble that you're having? Is it the initiation? Is it hanging in there? Or is it just getting to the point of asking out? So what I find the biggest mistake that most people make is that you guys are doing too much conversation that ends up in like a friendly conversation. And then that's when you're friend zoned or safe zoned, versus one that escalates, that there's attraction, that's fun, that's playful. And there's 2 like paths that you can take with that conversation. Because if you are not getting to the point where there's like that attraction factor, then a woman might not feel like she wants to have a date with you, right? So that this is getting more fine-tuned. So here are some challenges I see. I see that either you're not being interesting enough, you're just kind of boring. You're asking either too many questions, or you're not sharing enough. So there's there's not enough give or take, right? I see this happen all the time with even online dating. You'll say, how are you? What'd you do this weekend? Or like just these boring broad stroke questions. And you're not getting into like playful back and forth conversations. This is something I see a lot of guys do. You stay on topics and facts rather than getting personal.
Yeah.
So where did this is what it looks like. So where'd you go to school? I went to Yale. Oh, what'd you study? Oh, I studied, law and business. And yeah, I took these classes and I went there for X amount of years and I had X amount of friends. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you get the point. It's more in that fact zone. The personal zone, and this is where more building the attraction is, yeah, I went to Yale and I got to say, it was the best time of my life. In fact, I'll never forget a time. And then you go into a story. Mm-hmm. Funniest thing that happened to me. I teach storytelling. I think it's one of the most powerful things that you could learn in a date. And you'll feel way more fun and connected to the woman in that like storytelling, playful state than staying on you could shoot the shit until the cows come home, but that conversation is going to die if you stay on the topics. And that goes for the emoting and instilling passion. And that's the emotion piece and the personal piece. And then I see a lot of Q&A happening like that. And that's when it becomes like an interview. Have you guys been on a date like that where it just feels like you're interviewing each other? How long have you been married for? Oh my God. So what brings you to this planet? How long have you been married? Guys, they can read that on your resume. Like, who cares about that? Just tell a story, something that was fun that happened to you. So active listening is huge. So what Marni gave that example, pay attention to what they're saying. Ask personal questions, tell stories, start sharing things about yourself. That's another thing guys mistakenly do. They either maybe are asking a bunch of questions or you're just like pontificating and trying to impress rather than just really sharing something that's cool about you. Right?
You can practice these things in advance as well. If you start to notice patterns when you're on dates, you can pick five things that you can expand on so that you're not sort of stuck fishing for information.
Yes, it's so true. And so there's a storytelling exercise that I do with a lot of people and they get blown away because just that one little exercise shows that, and if we had time, I would do it with you, but it's more about like a story about nothing sometimes that is way better than just a story about like something factual and boring. All right. So keep it light and fun. Don't do the Q&A. Use words that elicit emotion. Stay away from too much facts. So the storytelling piece it will also help you get out of your head. And, I'll give you an example of something where I was coaching a guy and he, of course, this gorgeous, hot lady sits next to us. And he looks at me and he's like, holy shit, what do I say? I said, okay, what's going on in your head right now? Like, what are you thinking about? He goes, well, it actually has nothing to do with like her. So I don't even know. I'm like, just tell me what's going on in your head right now. And he's like, well, I noticed that window over there and I thought it was raining actually. And it was here in LA and that's kind of a rare thing for LA. We don't usually see rain, but actually it was the window that was like frosted. So it looked like rain. I said, what if you just said that like, and just tell a little snippet and story about what you're saying? Just a story doesn't have to be big, middle, beginning, middle, and end. It could be just a snippet of something. So that's how he started. He's like, did you ever notice that window over there? Like, I thought it was raining. And she looked and she's like, oh my God, that's so funny. I didn't even notice that. And I've been coming here all the time. And they were off to the races. And then he started sharing about a story about when it rained in LA. And it was just like a cute little funny thing. And it happened from the rain to something that was more personal to him. So like things that can happen like that. And sometimes it's the most nonsensical things that can be really fun and engaging. And the playfulness. Guys, don't, and here's the thing about being in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, like a lot of people feel awkward and you feel like, oh, I can't be that like gregarious guy, right? Like I can't be that like kind of playful, goofy guy that maybe I could get away with, when I was younger. Oh, there's nothing hotter, more attractive than somebody who is just having fun with you.
Yeah.
Like, don't you like that when women do
Yes.
that? Don't you like when women are playful and cute? Like,
And light and energetic and fun. And they don't have to talk
yeah.
about serious stuff all the time. Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I tell women, like, just go stick out your tongue and say hi to someone, or wear cat ears when you walk in a bar. Like,
Yes.
it all goes back to the 5th grade. It really, or kindergarten for that matter, when we used to chase each other on the playground. And that really is the fundamental basics. So when you're dating later in life, it's the perfect time to get tapped back into that playfulness. And if you never were playful, I encourage you that now's the time to get playful. Take an improv class, right? Go take a dance class, get out of your head, do something in your body that like gets you going. Because
Doug
that
asked the
energy.
question. Oh, sorry. Doug asked the question, what is the line between being flirty and a dirty old man?
Well, that is, I would say for my flirt class, I will just say no, because it's a bigger question. And most guys say that. I have a whole secret formula that I teach people how to flirt, and a lot of the ingredients I'm teaching you today. But what I will say is that it's not about like the sex talk as much as it is about the connection. And so I believe flirting is, so here, okay, you want to know the true definition of flirting? Flirting is to behave as though you're attracted to someone without the serious intentions of an outcome. When you look in the dictionary, that's what the definition is. That last part, without the serious intention of an outcome, is what's tripping all of you up. Because you're getting attached to what I don't want her to think I'm too creepy. I don't want to, like all that conversation. But it's a playfulness and a magnetic energy that just draws women to you. And there's nothing creepy about that. It's
and there's
lovely.
typically nothing super sexual about it. So that's when it becomes dirty, is when it becomes super sexual. That's where most guys think that flirting means talking about sex. And it usually doesn't even include talking about sex. It's alluding to the potential of there being sex if both parties agree to it.
I will give you a hint, guys. It has a lot to do with your style intelligence. It's the unspoken word that's sexier than hell. Again, it's your energy that we love. Okay, so do your conversations need improvement? Let's see. Like after going over that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. These are a lot of ones. Okay. So major.
Okay. So I guess after this. So what's been your biggest takeaway so far when it comes to your social intelligence, the way you engage, you flirt, your conversations, what's going on with you? What's something that maybe you want to hone in on, try and improve? Need practice.
Okay. Get
being playful, right?
Tend up talking to flirt better, storytelling, too analytical, storytelling, no expectation of outcome. I need to listen more. I end up talking too much. Storytelling. Yeah. These are wonderful.
Yeah. Awesome. And again, love that you guys are picking up different things for yourselves, like, because those are all part of it. So as we talked about the 3 components today of the charisma quotient, your style, your emotional and social intelligence, which one do you think you need to work on most? Maybe it's all of it, put a 1, 2, 3, top 2, but like which lands the hardest for you? 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Awesome. 2 and 3. Yeah. Okay, good. No, but see, to me, this is exciting because I know we're on the right track, and that right. Like these are these small things that you all can like focus on and do even on your own after this workshop. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure with all of this, you're thinking, okay, well, how do I nail it? Right. You know that you need improvement. You might have some things that you took away with today with your style and emotional and social intelligence. And if you only take away one thing from today, remember that I have shown you proven methods to look and feel and act like a confident and attractive man. I know that's not easy and it's not going to happen overnight, but I always tell people it's the small wins and the small steps that add to the bigger success. again, going back to that thing where a lot of times people like shoot the moon, too high. I want you to think of it as a marathon. Like if you are racing in a marathon, there is no way that you can just race to the finish line without training. So you got to think of this as training. You got to do exercises so that you can build your flirt muscles, so you can build your social muscles, so you can build your emotional intelligence muscles, so that you can get to where you want to go. And if you just focus on these little steps, I promise, I've seen it time and time again, you'll get there and you'll get out of your own way. So, okay, you have two options, right? Like you could try a lot of the stuff that we talked about today, and you could start doing this on your own, or you can maybe like pair up with a buddy who's willing to be like your accountability partner, your friend and foe, depending. And guys, if you don't have a good wingman, like that helps a lot. I often, when I'm coaching people, I always tell, just get another person who's like in your corner that you can practice with. But if you want a shortcut, and most people do, especially if you're a man, because man is just like, I'm all about like efficiency and effectiveness. And how do I do that in the fastest way? I really can help you implement this. And the thing is that a lot of times, like you'll listen to podcasts, or, you'll go to, workshops, you'll read a bunch of stuff, and it's really good steps because you start absorbing everything, right? But the hardest bridge to getting over that gap is to having that roadmap to get to the other side, right? So like how many of you are sitting in the car in the passenger seat, absorbing, but you're not in the driver's seat yet. And then on top of it, you don't even have a map to know where you were going. Yeah. So, right. So you could be in the passenger seat, but then you got to move to the driver's seat. Okay, I'm ready to drive, but now where am I going? So that's why I really love, working with people hands-on. I do believe it's about action. Again, it's about putting strategies into place, about breaking all these habits that you've just developed over time. And so, my special offer really will target all these things that we covered today in just a more extended way. Because again, we don't have time to go into every little thing. So I'm really excited about this. And guys, what's unique about it is that women are coming to this too. So you're going to be in a group with both men and women for live training. And it starts November 15th. So it's coming up. And these are the things that I'm going to help you with. There are going to be topics where you're going to overcome your fears related to dating that we talked about today. I have a customized step-by-step plan that will help you land dates. This is the roadmap that a lot of you are missing. You're going to learn to master the art of making amazing first impressions. How do you dial in your marketing, so to speak? Make online dating work for you like it's never worked before. If you are just feeling burnt out, you hate online dating, I have a different method that I teach that incorporates both online and offline so that you have like a dating strategy plan in place, just like a business plan, right? Everyone needs a plan, or you just default back to what you know. Turning your, charming flirt on. A lot of you guys were asking about the flirt. In this class, I have a whole unit dedicated to flirting. And you will become an expert in conversations. And what I love about this kind of hybrid type of training is that it's a combination of a teaching, kind of like what we're doing today, with me live there. This is not a recording. I will be there every week with interactive exercises that I'm having you practice with women. You also get all the recordings each week with it. And we're together for 6 weeks. Okay, so it's chunkable. It's not this ongoing thing. And the program is called How to Date in Your 40s, 50s, 60s. I couldn't get more direct than that, right? And so what I love about this, and I've done this format before and people just loved it. So I haven't done a co-ed. I'm so excited about it. I already have amazing people signed up already. And I was excited to be able to talk to you tonight because there's still time to get in if you are interested. So again, we start November 15th, which is coming up on Monday. And we meet every Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this kind of programs for you if you're serious, right? Like if you want to take it to the next step and you say, I need a roadmap. I want to accelerate things. I want to go from the passenger to the driver to the destination, and you want to take action, then this is going to be definitely for you. Spots are limited too. I sadly and unfortunately cannot hold as many people who are in this workshop. And Marni, that's what's so great. I'm doing it in a smaller scale. So with women, and it's live. Again, we go live on September 15th. So if you want to know more about my program, and if you want to see if it's a good fit for you, please go to this link and book a call with me. And the reason why I'm booking a call, and you see, here, if you guys, I'm going to send it here in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
I think I put it in someone's private chat. There it is. Okay. Do you all see that?
And so I'll include it. It's going to be in the PDF, and it's also going to be in the members area. So don't worry if you miss it for now. You'll get it tomorrow.
However, I will say the only kind of speed of that or urgency that I will say is that it does start Monday, and I only have there's only a certain amount of slots that I can talk to people. So here's what I want you to do is book the call as soon as you can. If you do not see a slot that is open or works for you, just email me, and I'm going to give you my email information in the slide coming up, because I want everyone to have a chance to be in the group. And the reason why I'm not just throwing up the price or click here, and I want to make sure it's right for you. And I also want to offer some strategy and advice, because sometimes I'll hear things where people aren't ready, or maybe you're ready for something even more. And I have other programs that might be even better fit for you, or maybe a program that includes this. So I have all different kinds of levels of programs. That's why I want to hop on a call with you. I want to just dedicate my time to you. It's just a half hour. We'll kind of go through the program together. I'm going to listen to the things that you're struggling with and make sure that the program is the right fit for you. And if it is, great, you're in. And my ladies are excited to meet you. If not, we could talk about other things, or maybe you had enough. But I would love for you to book it and get a chance to talk to all of you. And lastly, can I give you a bonus? So I did put this bonus together for you. It's Dating After 40 Checklist, the do's and don'ts. And it goes over all the areas that we just covered in the charisma quotient, the things you should do and not do in your style, emotional, and social intelligence. So definitely you'll get that with this workshop. So thank you, Marni, for helping include that. And I just wanted to thank all of you. You guys were awesome. I wanted to keep going. I wish there was more time. For those of you who do want to contact me directly, here's my contact info. Again, if you're having trouble with the link, Marni, if guys are having trouble, you can get in touch with Marni too and put us in touch. I just want to be able to talk to you guys if you're having trouble. So again, I'm at kimmyseltzer.com. I'm at Kimmy Seltzer pretty much on every social media handle. And my podcast is Charisma Quotient, which actually Marni has been on and I've been on her. So that's also something fun. So anyway, over to you, Marni.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, what'd you think of Kimmy? Was she amazing? Drop a 1 if you thought she was fantastic. I'm putting 10 ones in a row.
Oh my
yes.
God. Thank you.
She's amazing, right? She's absolutely amazing. Wonderful. Yeah, actually, do you want to go to the next slide for a second? Because I don't even know what I'm supposed to say right now, other than look at this.
Oh my God, I don't think it was
standing ovation.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. Can you go to the next slide? I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Hold on one second.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh,
no, perfect. Okay. If you feel this honestly will help you and was well worth the price of your ticket, drop a 1 in chat. Okay, wonderful. Next slide.
Yay.
Okay, if a friend asked you about this class, what is one sentence you would use to describe it? This is where I need testimonials from you guys. I want to hear your honest feelings. Express yourself. As Kim said, this is your time to do it. Wonderful. Oh, wow. Good job.
Oh, gives hope to.
Thanks, guys.
That's good.
Too fast for me.
No, you know what, Marni, you know how to copy the chat?
I do, but it doesn't look as pretty as it does when it's live. I like getting it live. Awesome. Real content, not fluff. Gil, I think that is the best thing that you've ever said. And actually, Gil always gives good comments. I always end up copying what he says. Guys, you are wonderful. I'm so glad that you joined us for this masterclass. Please schedule a call with Kimmy. I know how in demand she is. We've been trying to schedule this masterclass for like the past 6 months. So like she's busy. She's in demand. She works with beautiful women. I actually did not a masterclass. We had a group session like 12 years ago, if you remember, where I was doing a boot camp and I had you bring your ladies. They were like hot women, like attractive, amazing
God, I
women.
forgot about
I know,
that.
in Santa Monica. I just remember that right now. She works with amazing women, amazing women. So yes, please get in contact with her as soon as possible. And I think what is the last thing that needs to be said? Okay, to wrap up, the replay is going to be available in 48 hours. I think in the members area already, we've posted the PowerPoint and that bonus checklist that Kim just spoke about. If you have any issues, if you don't get the replay, if you don't know how to get into your members area, please contact support at winggirlmethod.com and my team will help you as quickly as they can, but typically within 24 hours. And if you have not gotten a ticket to the VIP call, which is happening tomorrow night at 4 p.m., please do. It's with myself, with Kimmy. We're on for 1 hour. We're answering every single one of these questions that you want to dive deeper into. So go to breakingthegirlcode.com it's actually winggirlmethod.com/VIP-ticket. It's not breaking the girl code, but just make sure you change that. To take advantage of working with Kimmy, you have that link as well, and that will also be in the members area. But you guys were wonderful. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I will see some of you tomorrow night on the VIP call. All right. Bye, guys. I'm just going to take some more pictures of all of these wonderful things that you said. And then I'm going to get off. But thank you so much for coming. And Kim, I will give you a call in the next 2 minutes to tell you again how awesome you were. But thanks, guys.
Thanks,
we'll see you next time. And hopefully we'll see you on the VIP call tomorrow night. Bye, guys.